Hey, everybody, coming to you live from a tennis court where you need to be practicing social distancing. Seems like kind of crazy that we're still talking about some of those things at this point, the way that we are. And I put that out there to trigger some of you. No, not really. Guys, today is election day. I do want to encourage you to get out there and vote. But, guys, what I want to talk about is what we have seen in the last few years with a lot of the craziness in our world that has absolutely had a massive effect on marriages, Christian marriages. And guys, I just want to, if you're out there today and you realize that COVID, elections, the political angst has impacted you, has impacted your marriage and your family potentially, that this is exactly where you need to be today. So, guys, first of all, I want to just point out before we dive in, if you are finding us on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. We would appreciate that so much this video today. And make sure that you also are finding us on Facebook. We've got a private Facebook group called Turnaround Marriage with about 2,000 people in there. And make sure you try to join our group. All you have to do is search Turnaround Marriage. You're going to find it. And this month, we are doing a gratitude challenge $100 date night gift card giveaway simply by every day commenting what you're most celebrating today. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be giving that away at the end of this month, right before Thanksgiving. But guys, let's go ahead and dive in. And let me just share that I've been working with couples for about 20 years. And with Turnaround Marriage, we've been doing this about 3.5, 4 years. And in this time, we have seen with the COVID and with the political tension and the back and forth and the masks and all that we've been through and the vaccines, and hopefully that won't get this video banned. Like we just live in this world where there is this constant tension. And the scary thing is that this has overflowed in massive ways, whereby we've seen husbands and wives that seem to be on the same page about so many things before, and suddenly these things have come to the forefront. And we know that what's made it even worse is that oftentimes, not so much now, but early on, it was like we were stuck in the same house and there was nobody else to bounce ideas off of. And all that we were getting was the bombardment of CNN and Fox News and whatever it is that you were getting at home. And we have seen unprecedented seasons of trial and struggle in homes, in families, with extended family, and sometimes even with close friends. And it's been really a season of trial. And when a husband and wife who process things differently, and like what a lot of people think, is that men and women not only look at the world differently, but they process things differently. And they have realized that a lot of times in the context of marriage, that they have come at the same issue from different angles and have been had difficult time trying to navigate that. And so what has really happened is that some of those small disagreements at one point have become these massive divisions, massive disagreements over time, even if it didn't start out that way. And it's very interesting that you can have a husband and wife that see eye to eye ideologically and on their worldview and maybe even how to vote most of the time, that we're still finding that they were starting to major on the minors. They were starting to focus on the smaller issues and made those molehills into mountains. And this is what has happened not only in marriages, but throughout our culture. You might have seen it, especially when there it is, you're trying to guide your kids and in a season that's confusing for everybody. And you want to make sure that in all of this, I mean, that's the greatest thing that we can give to our kids is to show them how the world thinks and to point them to Christ and to point them to the truth of who we are and what God says. And you're pointing them there. And if you and your spouse have been doing that in a different way, it's been really, really difficult. And guys, here it is election day. And the way that the evil one wants it is for you and your spouse to be disconnected. The way he wants it is for the church, for God's people to be disconnected. This is exactly what he wants. And so, guys, here we are in a season with unprecedented attacks. And I want to say clearly what is at the heart of this. There is no question that the division is so much more than Republican Democrat. It's an attack of the evil. And there's no question that there's willing participants. There's no question that to some degree, media and politicians have some role to play in this big facade of confusion that the evil one has brought into our land. Of course he has. I may upset some people here. I'm not intending to do that. I'm not even actually getting real political. But we have to understand that the evil one, he schemes. He prowls around looking like a lion looking for who he's going to devour. He's doing everything in his power to distract them, to distract us, I should say, to distract God's people. And we see the world that is happening around us. And guys, if you do not see that the division that is being wrought in our world is not on purpose, then you're blind. You don't see it spiritually. That the attack ultimately is an attack on the country. It is attack on people in general. I mean, do people even say hi in the streets anymore? I do. But most times I just had a guy walk by not 10 minutes ago and I'm like waving at him. He's walking a dog. He refused to even look at me. I mean, this is the kind of angst that we have in this world, and I refuse to go down that path because you have to understand that behind it all is the evil one and his schemes. And the heart of it, the thing that he wants to destroy most of all, more than the United States, is the fabric of our country, God's people and families, specifically God's families most of all. And guys, I think we've missed it. I think the church has often missed it. We've been so busy talking about protecting ourselves that we haven't even talked about fundamentally protecting our families and being on guard against the attacks of the evil one. And there we're seeing it. The fallout is clear. The divorces are happening at unprecedented rates. The divorces are rising. The suicide levels are going up, even for the people that profess the name of Christ. Guys, doesn't matter how we vote today. Those leaders, there might be some good ones. The answers, the politicians, the media, you think they're the answer? No, not at all. Guys, we got to go back to what's true. We've got to go back to seeing the attacks of the evil one. We've more importantly got to go back to seeing the truth of what God says. And if a husband and wife are in a place, guys, if you're there today and you can't get on the same page, the biggest problem isn't that one issue. The biggest problem is that you've allowed the evil one to split the two of you. And if that's what's happened, you probably have blind spots. You probably have um, um, areas that you don't even see where you need someone else to step into the situation and help you guys get clarity of where that division came. And I don't care if you think it's COVID or who to vote for today. There's something more at play than just that. And I want to encourage you to book a breakthrough call with us where we're going to, with laser precision, get clarity about what is the heart of the matter. But we're not going to just stay there. We're not going to just stay in staying stuck. We're also going to talk about what you know is in God's heart for you and for your marriage. And then we'll craft a strategy to get there. And so I want to encourage you, just go to turnaroundmarriage.com/call. Book that time that's going to work for you both, and we're going to give you that clarity. If it's just one of you that's even willing at this point, they're going to give you that laser clarity about how do we get out of these schemes that the devil has ensnared you with. Guys, please vote today. You need to vote for today. You need to vote for righteous, godly people as much as that you possibly can. And I would even say, as most political I'm going to get, vote for those that will stand for freedom most of all, because the greatest thing we can hope for in our land is the freedom to worship God for as long as we possibly can. I've been in communist countries. I've been to other places where it was illegal to worship God, and I don't want that for my kids. It might actually be a blessing in disguise, but I don't want that for them anytime soon. So please vote. But guys, the answer is going back to what is the truth, going back to what God says, and going back to his heart for our for families in our nation, even bigger than what's going to happen with the election. And so I'd even encourage you, before you wake up tomorrow and flick on the news and find out what the media is telling you to do, let's go back to the heart of our Father and listen to what he would have us to do. So, my friends, I know that's a couple different places, and it's a lot to think about. There's a lot going on. It's a confusing time. I get that. But God is not confused, not at all. So let's go and find ourselves aligned more with his heart today. Lots of love, my friends. And again, if you want to book that call, just go to turnaroundmarriage.com/call. And until next time, we'll talk soon.